All right, let's get this party started, right? Welcome to our first MSU Entrepreneurship and Innovation Day. And now we have kind of a culmination of a full day of events. We are doing the Big Ideas Challenge competition. We have 5 finalist teams who are competing for up to $10,000 to help launch their new venture. I just want to make a few remarks before we get started. We have a wonderful panel of judges today who will be judging the presentations, and they already have looked through written plans. But I want to have a special welcome to our donor, the Lloyd family. We have Craig Lloyd, if you'd like to stand up, please. Craig Lloyd is our donor of the Big Ideas Challenge and one of our judges today. And then his daughter, Christy Ernst, is also one of our judges. Yvonne Caraval, if you would like to stand, please. She is our entrepreneurship professor here on campus, another judge. And then we have Paul Hansen. If you'd like to stand up. Paul is MSU alumni, and he's our chief operating officer of Track If. And last but certainly not least is Stuart Sneer. He is the market president for our United Prairie Bank. So welcome, judges. Thank you for being here. Welcome, Lloyd family. Thank you so much for sponsoring our first Big Ideas Challenge. So we're going to get underway with our first team. So sit back, relax, and enjoy these new student innovators.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you, everybody in the audience, for coming tonight, and judges. It's an honor to have you judging our competition today. My name is Anthony Ulrich.
And my name is John Englehart, and we're the co-founders of Gym Life. So how did we get here? In November of 2014, I bumped into my old friend Anthony in the hallway. We spent some time catching up, and he told me about an idea he had. He asked me if I knew anything about building a website, and I told him no. But with a computer science background, I told him I was up for the challenge. We settled on building our website on an e-commerce platform called Shopify. We chose Shopify because they're the industry-leading platform in secure transactions and have a great content management system. All of this for just $30 a month. Anthony brought up the Big Ideas Challenge to our attention, and we both agreed that this would be a great opportunity to not only motivate us, but to give us something to look forward to on a daily basis. We began diligently working for 1 to 2 hours a day starting in December on building our website while still going to school full-time and both fulfilling our 20-hour-a-week internship requirements. We have a live working demo for you guys tonight that we will show at the end of our presentation today, and I hope you guys really enjoy it. So what is our company, and why is everybody going to use it? Let me ask you this. If you want to go buy some clothes to wear to the gym, go out on a run, or just look cool in your fitness clothes, where would you go? Well, after doing a lot of research, asking friends, we noticed that women, they wanted to look both comfy and functional in their clothes, but most of all, to look good. Many men, athletic or not, you'll notice, they just like to wear fitness clothes as their daily outfit. On top of that, when entering the gym, they want to look stylish instead of wearing those awkward homemade cutoffs.
All right. We also started realizing that not necessarily what people were wearing was important, but where they were shopping was also very important. Shoppers don't want to sit and wait in lines, risk getting trampled on holidays over the rush. They wanted to start finding a better way to shop, so they started shopping online, and they were finding it was often far cheaper and more efficient. So, where do people go online to do their fitness shopping? Well, people have a couple options. They can go directly to their brands, their favorite brands, such as Gymshark, La Bella Mafia, Live Fit, or, hold on, sorry, or Muscle Club. But the drawbacks here are significant, and they counter the logic to why people are shopping online in the first place. People want to shop online for convenience. You've all witnessed the demand for this type of service already, and this type of demand has led to the rise of one of the largest internet retailers in the world, Amazon.com. So earlier when we asked where you guys are purchasing your online fitness apparel, my question to you is why nobody thought of Amazon. Amazon has an intuitive website, great customer service, and they carry a large amount of fitness-related products, yet most people don't think of Amazon when we ask that question. And I'll tell you why, and it's for the same reason that people are buying more supplements off bodybuilding.com than off Amazon as well. And that reason is selection. Selection is key. Bodybuilding.com provides a wide variety of selection. Having a top-notch selection is also key. Sorry, 1 second. I've done plenty of shopping on my own online, purchasing fitness apparel, trying out different brands, seeing how the process works, and I've had a lot of really good and bad experiences. And one of the main things has to do with when I get my package or product and it's something I wasn't looking for. It wasn't good quality, it doesn't fit, doesn't dress my physique. And we realize that ensuring that the customer with excellence with every order is something that we must ensure and we will ensure. Bodybuilding.com also has a great reliability of supply. They're the best in the industry. If you go to Amazon.com, you're most likely going to be able to find some supplements, but whether the exact thing you're looking for, it may or may not be there. And this is because Amazon does 40% of their business through third-party sellers. So if you look to your left or you look to your right, that person may or may not be the one supplying you with your supplements, not a professional company like bodybuilding.com. Lastly, bodybuilding.com's core competency of selection is price. Price is going to be cheaper than anywhere else you're going to find. So I think the next logical question is, why doesn't everybody go online just to buy their products from bodybuilding.com, who does so well in supplements? And simply, it's because they have a very limited selection themselves of fitness apparel. They're choosing to ignore the fact that the industry of fitness apparel is growing similar to the supplement industry of the 90s. To highlight this point, vitamins and minerals and supplements is another one of the fastest growing industries in the world. However, the fitness apparel industry has already surpassed this industry, edging it out at $36 billion to $32 billion in industry revenue annually. So what is driving this demand, and is it here to stay?
Well, it's pretty simple actually. It's not a fashion trend, it's a lifestyle trend. I urge you in the next couple of weeks to do some research by simply just looking around to what everybody's wearing on their daily life. I'm going to show you a couple quotes that we did while doing our market research, and they're just going to come up and you can quickly look over them. All right, and now I'm going to read my favorite quote. Whether or not you're a gym junkie, you'll likely be dressing like one soon enough.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a special presentation for you tonight, showing off a little bit of the apparel we plan to be selling.
All right, so let's welcome Hui to the stage. Hui is rocking a fresh white Live Fit shirt with black Nike leggings, an Under Armour gray shorts with Nike free runs, and an Oakley black hat.
Next up is Melissa Bart wearing a pink shreds tank top. gray Athleta yoga pants, and black Nikes.
After Melissa is Jimmy. He's looking good and happy about himself wearing that orange Rascal Apparel stringer tank top.
Our last female today is Alexa Klons, wearing a stylish red Athleta zip-up, an orange Nike tank, black Nike leggings, and white Nike shoes.
All right, and we can't forget about Heido. Look at him showing off that Gymshark black and green tank and his fitted gray pants. Don't forget about his fresh Adidas shoes as well.
Yeah.
All right, so I think in the years to come, bodybuilding.com will realize that this is a missed opportunity for them. They're going to be wishing they had got some skin in the game by either beefing up their own apparel section or acquiring a competitor. So what are we going to do about this missed market opportunity? Well, we're going to do everything bodybuilding has done right and apply it to the fitness apparel market. Just like bodybuilding.com, we're going to diligently build a network of supplier relationships. We're going to offer a superior selection to anyone else on the market. We're going to be competitively priced with our products, and we will maintain the highest degree of reliability and customer support just like you would from any other big company like Amazon or bodybuilding.com. We plan to carry a wide assortment of brands that our customers have an interest in. This includes the popular, well-known brands to smaller brands that people might not have heard of. We will be selling our products solely online. We will operate under a dropship model. Just as bodybuilding.com has seen success and benefited from a dropship model, we will have contractual agreements set up with our suppliers in which we'll purchase at a wholesale price and sell at a retail price. So how are we going to build a brand then?
Well, John, we see two key areas we need to be spending the majority of our time and capital to be most effectively building a strong brand. Nobody can deny that social media has become a large part of the average person's life who has access to internet. We've seen the success of individual brands in this space. One of the brands we're actually looking at targeting is Live Fit, and they've had tremendous success. If you look closely on the left-hand side, that's 199,000 followers on Instagram, and they've done this in a little bit over a year. 2.8 thousand on YouTube, 2,000 on Twitter, and 10,000 on Facebook. I'm a fan of the show Shark Tank, and they often talk about putting in the hard work, grinding out sales. Mark Cuban often discusses hustling to build a successful business. This is precisely what we plan to do here. We plan to post quality content on a consistent basis that relates to our customer base. Every time a happy customer receives an order, what is the first thing they want to do? They want to go home, post it on Instagram, Facebook, or Snapchat, and share it with their friends. Happy customers means free publicity, and this will grow our social media base exponentially. We're going to utilize strategies such as #GymLife, and when they do this, they'll be posted directly to our Team Gym Life accounts, which are going to go directly to the front page of our website. We plan to build a brand as much in preparation for one of the internet's biggest holidays, Cyber Monday. One of our targeted suppliers, Gym Life, sold out nearly 100% of their products last Cyber Monday. Secondly, we're going to try to focus on online advertising. This is where the majority of our funding and capital is going to go. According to the Wall Street Journal, by 2018, digital advertising is going to surpass TV spending. We plan to focus our funding in two main categories for digital marketing. We will build strategic partnerships with key community members. These community members have very loyal and dedicated followings. When they recommend a product It has a very similar effect to the Oprah effect when she recommends a book on her TV show. We've found that we can have very more beneficial conversion rates, and spending our money in this manner is the best way moving forward. Secondly, we will focus on social media account acquisitions. The concept here you may not be familiar with, but the concept is purchasing somebody's account who has 500,000 followers, who just does it for fun, they update on a daily basis, and they don't realize the value of their account. We make them an offer, purchase their account. Now we have access to their user base at a much lower cost than we could in any other venue. So, the next big question, why will we succeed? I really believe it's demand. Every business needs demand. The greater the demand, the greater the opportunity to supply. We are getting in the right industry at the right time, and we're getting in the right industry at the right time. Sorry. We're getting in the right industry at the right time. Now I'll pass it off to John.
The reasons we will succeed is because we will lean on our superior selection as a pillar of success, the same exact way bodybuilding has built their support. We will gain and maintain our customers by providing the benefit of a convenient, online, intuitive shopping store. With your support, we have the potential to be the next e-commerce site. Even all the big guys had to start somewhere, and what a story it will be for us when we look back.
Please support us by providing the funding we need to become the next market leader in this space. You can come check us out at our temporary web address, fitgen.myshopify.com, and the password is vote for us. It's mobile responsive, tablet responsive, or PC responsive. We hope to be launching within the next couple of weeks, and we ask that you please check us out and follow us on Instagram, and we'll be updating you with new products and discount codes. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Gym Life. Okay, we're going to open it up to judges' questions. We're going to just hold questions from the audience, and this is just going to be kind of like a little Shark Tank style here, where the 5 judges will be able to ask any question. Is fair game from the business plan that you received and from the presentation. So I will open it up to the judges for questions.
Vote.
Oh, go ahead.
Vote for the number 4, us.
The V is capital, by the way.
I really like your thoughts about the understanding the importance of strategic relationships. You didn't really mention any by name. Do you have a couple in mind, or somebody that you've been working towards having a partnership with?
I do have some in mind. I have a long list. I don't know if I listed them in my business plan or not. I don't know if you'd be familiar with the names, but Kathleen Eggleton, Elliot Hulse, some of the bigger members that got signed earlier on would be the Hodge twins, who are 2 of the largest individuals in the fitness industry. So that would be an example. I don't know if you're familiar with any of them.
Is it reasonable to think you would get like a Lululemon or an Athleta to your site then, or is that?
That's definitely the objective. We realize that some of these larger brands that are carried in Dick's Sporting Goods and brands that aren't as well, like Lulu and Athleta, you definitely need contacts. But we're going to diligently seek out those contacts, and the idea is absolutely to carry those brands.
And another goal there is when we were building our website, we went on every single one of the brands that we ever thought about carrying, compared our website to them, looked at what they were using, what worked for them, what we liked about their website and what we didn't, and applied that to our website. So what we're going to be selling to them is a clean, functional looking website.
You mentioned Live Fit Apparel. Is that a competitor, or I'm not familiar with what Live Fit Apparel is?
Live Fit Apparel is another competitor, yeah. They already are open up to wholesaling, and we would like to move forward with them in the following weeks of setting up a relationship.
They're just a brand, something like Nike or Under Armour.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
a private brand. They're not a fitness retailer like we are.
Can you talk a little bit about packaging? Are you planning to, how are you going to get your brand identified? Are you planning to package materials similar like what Amazon does? Or are you going to rely on the dropship vendor to provide packaging?
That's a great question, and to be honest, I don't know the complete answer to that. I'd probably need some advice going forward. We could explore both options. Yeah.
I noticed your business plan didn't have a salary for either of you for the operation of the business. Is that correct?
Yeah, to be honest, I'm doing this strictly because I love building things. The reason I picked my information technology major is because I liked to do things. This is what I want to do. I don't expect to make a profit right away. I'm not looking for money. When he approached me, I was like, finally somebody that can direct me, because I'm like kind of like a train. You tell me what to do, and I'll just do it. But I need someone like that, and that's why we were able to get this done. And I'm doing this because it's fun. I enjoy it, and regardless if we win or not, business will succeed, and that's just how I feel.
And could you talk a little bit about if you were to win the competition, what would you do with the money? What is your intention in terms of spending?
First, we would pay off our costs that we've been paying since December. We've been paying to have a Shopify account active so that we can continue building. That's been $30 a month. We've downloaded other applications, PowerShop tools, I believe it's called.
Yeah, we had to invest in a couple of tools that would basically make a collapsible sideboard more intuitive. Just random tools that we found were necessary in order to have our customers feel confident when using our website.
So we would pay back that 4 or 5 months of development, and then we would pay 1 year forward. You save, it's in the business plan, I believe 33% when you purchase for an entire year rather than paying per month. And then we would focus the rest on what key partnerships we want to pursue.
The making of a great brand is often surrounded by excellent service. Talk about how you're going to service your customers.
Can you go a little more in depth on the question, please?
The ordering of a product is the beginning of a shopping experience. The receiving of the product and the delight in it and coming back again is the elongation of that. But there's often issues that arise, and the more vendors that you deal with, the more issues that may pop up. How will you deal with whether they be online support, or are you planning to have a phone bank or phone support? How will you handle customer issues that may pop up along the way?
Okay, right. So I spent a lot of time doing my market research and understanding how this business model could work. I came to the dropship model and decided that this was the way to go because it was low risk right away. I didn't have to pay for a lot of capital. This $10,000 wouldn't pay for the inventory I would need. So we chose the dropship model, and I started having to analyze what the drawbacks were to that. Having a lack of support and having to basically we're going to have to handle all the support on our own was one of the drawbacks. Also, a lack of control of knowing when they have a supply, when our suppliers have their supply, And if we sell something and they don't have something, there were definitely some things that we noted, but there are different tools within Shopify's platform to closer track supply, make sure that our customers are getting an update on when their product's going to be there. So support can be done through Shopify, through different applications, as well as if we're going to do phone support, we were planning on outsourcing.
I'm going to bounce back to the financial part, if you don't mind, for just a minute. In your financial section in here, you talk about having surpluses by the end of 2015. I'm really interested in more of the sources and uses of your funding. Should you win the competition, we'll have an immediate source of capital to use for immediate expenses. Once your product line is moving forward and you maybe have contractual arrangements with other vendors and those types of things, do you have any kind of a backup plan should your money run out and those surpluses aren't meeting projection?
Well, I think given our business model right now is meant to be very lean, we don't necessarily need a large amount of capital. The majority of our expenses are going to be going to seeking out these key partnerships. A phrase that I hear on Shark Tank that I really, really like is capital should be needed but not necessary. You want to have it be gasoline to throw on the fire, but if you don't have that gasoline, you still got to have a business that can operate. And I believe without those surpluses, we can continue to operate under our current business model.
All right. Thank you, Gym Life. Let's give him a round. Thank you. Thank you. And next to the stage, we have Vikas Ed.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Christina Chatron, and I'm a graduate student in the College Student Personnel with an emphasis in student affairs.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Charles Emele, a senior in international business and marketing.
We have Vikas Ed International. Vikas means growth or expansion in Hindu, and Ed for educational. We're going to the first slide is just summary and table content of our presentation today. Talking about who we are, what we sell, who we sell to, the how, strategy, and implementation. Then Charles will take care of the financial summary and the rest, and we'll have question and answer at the end of the presentation. Before we begin, I would just like you all, to read this quote from the Harvard President Neil Rudenstine. We're international students from Africa. He's from Africa, so I'm from Cameroon. And we just thought it would be a great opportunity for us to provide international recruiting for our peers back home. And that's where the whole idea came from. In this video, you're going to watch two students, one from Ivory Coast and one from Nigeria. One had a good experience about applying to the US, and one did not.
I did encounter several difficulties. One, I wasn't sure about what schools to apply to, what tuition and fees rates were, and I was also confused about how to pay my application fee. I went to several agencies, which most of them happened to be fake in Nigeria, and I was at risk of having my money taken away from me by people who I couldn't even trust. Two, as I said earlier, I wasn't able to pay the application fee because I didn't have a Visa or MasterCard that was valid in America. And finally, I didn't know what programs were. I was unfamiliar with the US educational system and didn't know what I was going for.
My name is Deborah Emmanuel Kwame. I'm from Ivory Coast, and I'm studying political science and human resource management. Well, before coming to the United States, my process was very fair and it was very fluid. What I've done is I consulted an agency to help me with my paperwork, because I know it was a very tough and long process.
If I didn't have someone here, I'll have all my questions answered about what clothes to bring, what materials I need, my whole application process, and how I could pay my application fee. But I didn't, so it was really stressful and hard for me. I just hope all my peers and my friends back there in Nigeria and everywhere around the world have someone they can rely on too. Have like a friend, a sister, or an agency they can trust, or current students who are here they could trust. That they could like ask questions about the universities around the United States, educational system here, and maybe the application process. If they don't have that, then I wish them good luck. But my friends who did have those, were perfect. So I wish everyone in Nigeria and everywhere around the world who choose to come to America have someone they can trust already here who can help them with the whole process.
Well, without that, as I say, without this help, it will be very hard because you have to manage a lot of things. You have to be able to stay in constant communication with the institution you're going to, and having this kind of help just make you carefree. You don't have to worry about anything. You know there's professionals that are taking care of this.
The next slide will just show the numbers of international students in the U.S., where they are from. Most of the international student population are from Asia and Middle East. As you can see, there are two continents that are represented, South America and Africa, and we are more focused on Africa. We do have some countries in what we sell before I get back to that slide. What we sell, basically we sell our services to the students. We are focused on providing them that transition between high school to college institution here in the USA. Who we sell to the students ranging from high school to graduate level students. We also sell to academic institutions. We plan to sell, hopefully, to academic institutions who are going to partner with us. Important to know, we do have countries in Africa that are represented in the USA. Nigeria, Kenya, Ghana, Cameroon, and South Africa. Out of 54 countries in Africa, only 5 of them. So we have 49 countries that still need to have that influx of students coming to USA. And even the students who come from those countries, most of them go to these universities down here. California, New York, Chicago. They don't know about Minnesota. They don't know how cheaper school is here compared to those big cities. And that's where we come in. How do we plan to do that straight implementation? High school recruiting. To be there in person and have the students see that we were once in their seat and now we're here, we're successful. I think we are. That would be a good opportunity for us to create that trust between the students and ourselves. Partnering up with the US institutions who are looking to increase their international student population and targeting a market like Africa, who just had, I would say, just a 2% of students here in America. Oh, sorry, I wanted to point out something. Here we just took an example. It's just Douala is just a city in Cameroon, and approximately 35 private schools and approximately 20 public schools. We have way more institutions than that in Cameroon. But this amount of institutions are institutions where the wealthy Cameroonians send their kids to. And that is our target population we begin. We go straight with the students who can afford education in the US. So how do we plan to do that? Step 1, partnering up with US institutions. Step 2, recruiting. And step 3, connecting and creating a liaison between both ends. And now Charles can take off.
Okay, I know that you guys are waiting for this part. This is the most important part for you guys. Can you hear me well? Okay. Before I start, I would like to tell you that there is a $4 million deficit in the U.S. educational system here. That they were even trying to reduce our scholarship because as international students, we're having a scholarship. But just data for you to know. But basically, I'm going to tell you what are the basic needs that we need to launch this business. We're not going to need $35,000 or let's say $100,000. No, really, something reasonable. You're going to start with a $1,500 flight ticket to go twice a year in Cameroon. Because as she said, we'll be in touch with the population, be in touch with the students, be in touch with the parents, institutions, high schools. So that will not be something through Skype. No, we'll be there talking to them, making them understand who we are and what we do on a daily basis. Secondly, transportation between the cities in Cameroon. So we have to drive there. We're not going to purchase a car at the beginning, but we'll use public transportation to move around, meeting with parents, organize some fairs and things like that. Also, marketing and materials for presentation. So we'll need a projector. We need also boards. We need computers. So it seems like it's not something huge and like crazy, but just to tell you how the business is really wonderful, we need this amount of money, so around $6,000 to start. I'm going to move to the next slide. So this is a bit more information because we have a service-based business. It's not a product-based business. So we have two main fees. The first one, as you can see here, $16.50 unit sales. So what we call unit sales, we are consultants. So if, for instance, my friend here, DeAndre, want to go in Africa to go in university, I'm just going to charge him to give him all the information that he needs to understand that I'm capable of sending him there, like moving him from the US to Africa. So moving him from point A to point B. This is just the first fee. The second fee is the process of application. So then we're going to start getting in touch with the university selected. We're going to pay a service fee for those who are in the education system, service. Service is around $300. Visa application, we'll have to pay for the visa application because we have to go to the embassy. DeAndre, we have to get a visa from this embassy here in the US to be able to go back, to go in Africa. That was the example I took. So that's why we said we're going to go with $825.17 to start. We have competitors back home, as you can see on the business plan, but they're charging way higher than this. We want to really give back to the community. We're not trying to get money at like our first main objective. No. We want to be able to provide a service like moving students from a point B, from a point A to a point B where they can be able to graduate, relate to their peers, give back to the communities, improve the country, the continents. So that's why we said charging $800 is reasonable and it's really feasible too. Next slide, I'm going to walk through some graphs for you to have an understanding of how our fiscal years will look like. Can you zoom a bit for me, my friend? Okay. So you see here the first year, our revenue is around, let's say, $18,000. So why we have this amount this first year? Because firstly, we're not getting paid the first year. So that we're using our own cash reserves the first year to be able to move around, in addition to the $10,000 that we get from you today. Yeah, the expenses, we will mainly spend some money in advertising and marketing for you to know, because they need to know what we do, who we are. Are we capable of doing the job for them? They need to know about us. So we'll be everywhere in Cameroon. That's how we can compare the market. Also, the net profit, like I told you, we're not getting paid. So you can understand why, the net profit, we have a decrease in the net profit the second year, because here we're getting paid. So now we're starting making money, And we're having the revenue of $30,000, more than $30,000. Why? Because we're having word of mouth. We're having some students who got here in the US who are able to relate to their peers, to say, well, Vikas had helped me getting here in the US. So they will be able to talk to their friends and let them know that we are a really, good business and service-based business. So we can come back to this part after, during the Q&A questions, if you like to. As you may know, a lot of businesses should have milestones planned for expansion. So the big picture is to get over Africa. Africa is a wonderful continent, but then they need people, I don't want to say like us, but I mean, that's the truth, to change what's happening over there. We want to be able to expand in Central Africa and West Africa at first, and after we go to Africa. But then why these two countries? Because this is our target market. This is where we're from. We better go somewhere where we know the local people, where we have a better understanding of the market, we understand what they talk, what the needs, and what the demand is. Secondly, a strong alliance with U.S. institutions. I mean in Minnesota and in the U.S. I mean by that because, strong alliance because Without these partnerships, we won't be able to get good universities for students to come here. We won't be able to get universities here in the U.S. understand what we do. So that's why we said we need a strong alliance with U.S. institutions and in Minnesota and the U.S. Home office expansion in Cameroon. At a certain point of our lifetime as a business, we have to have an office. So you understand, like, it's self-explanatory. Also, connecting companies in Africa with U.S. institutions. So this is win-win partnership. So let's say, for instance, you are a student here in the U.S. and you want to get international type of experience. So that's an opportunity for you to get in touch with an industry in Africa where you can go get some experience. Let's say Cargill. Cargill, they have operations in Ivory Coast from my country. So you're an agribusiness student, again, DeAndre, you want to get internships over there, we'll put you in touch with these firms and they walk you through the process. It's easy. How about students in Africa who want to come here and get some internships and experience? That's what we want to do too. So in the near future, we'll work on that part too. So we're done. This is our references part. And here, any questions?
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Can I answer that?
Yeah, go ahead.
There is a profit. If we summarize, the admission application, for example, MSU is $20. The visa application is $160. That's $180. The service fee increases all the time. The last time I checked, it was $200. That's $480. And we're charging them $825. It's basically almost doubled. And that's why, because if we convert that to the currency back home, is $500,000 our currency. And that's how much our current competitors charge for just to find an institution here in the U.S. for the students. It doesn't cover all those other charges we provide to them. So they're basically paying the same price with way more provided to them than just an admission in the U.S.
And approximately how many hours would you average spending with each student?
What we actually plan to do is I'll talk for myself because I'm the one going to Cameroon this December. I already contacted high schools. The high school I went to was a private high school. So I've contacted the school and I had approximately 50 students in my class. Trying to bring cohorts is easier and faster because we already have that relationship with the school. So if we were to bring 20 students to MSU, for example, that is each student paying $825. So we present to the schools and create that partnership with the high school. So the following year, more people in the country are interested because they know that if my child goes to that school, they have this partnership with this university that has a good education. So yeah, we're more like talking to a group of people and recruiting right with the high school. So we're selective. We're not taking everybody, and we treat, what was the word in English? We relate directly with the high schools. If that makes sense.
So to add some things to what she said, we're not going to charge like on an hourly basis. It's not going to be like this at the beginning. Maybe at a certain point of the business, we'll start doing this. But now we're trying to build a brand, trying to talk to them. So we make some sacrifices at first, and after we'll work on developing an hourly fee, Yeah.
Have you discussed your idea with any admissions offices here at MSU or at any other universities?
I brought up to Dean Stoyneff, and there's some politics I don't really understand, so that's all I'll say. But I've been talking to any ear who wanted to listen.
So this, to answer your question again, we've been trying to get in touch with institutions, but then we're not recognized yet, So we need to be legal entity and to be able for them to understand what we're trying to say, because they won't trust us. As students, I don't think so, Yeah.
First of all, I want to compliment you on it. It's a great presentation.
Thank you.
So you guys put a lot of thought and energy into it. How big do you think your market really is? I mean, you had I forget what it was, 30 private,
Can you go back to
and
the
then
slide with high
20.
Okay.
Is that just in, is it called Cameroon? Yeah.
That is just a city. That's a country right there. That is just a city. That's the economical capital city of the country. And I just picked the Ivy League institution high school in Cameroon. There are more than 1,000 high schools, but those are the ones where most wealthy parents send their kids to. And I want to focus on those, high schools.
So I'll probably ask another dumb question on my side is, how did you find Minnesota?
Google.
Google.
Seriously, I did. I was desperately looking for institution, and my mother knew someone who told her for me to apply in California. Very expensive. Then I was like, that's just too much, Mom. I'm not going to do that. So I went on Google and I was searching and I clicked pre-med programs in the USA. All the states came up. My middle name starts with an M, so I went with M. Minnesota was right there. I picked it. All the cities came up, and Mankato was the only institution whose deadline wasn't passed yet. So that's how I end up here.
Well, you did a great job. Now, would you plan on taking that throughout Africa as you get bigger in this?
Sorry, one more time?
Would you plan on taking this program throughout Africa?
Yeah, that's our milestone. So we will start with Cameroon. So Yaoundé is just this little part here. You see, on the left side where they have the laser, this is Douala here. So she just picked this part, and she just selected in Douala 35 private high schools and 20 private and 20 public high schools. But we want to go over Cameroon and over Africa as a whole. But we're going to focus on West Africa first, after Central and South Africa, North Africa. Yeah.
Thank you.
Could you talk a little bit about what your responsibility is to the student? Is it strictly to get them admitted? Is that where your obligation lies, or do you have a relationship that lasts beyond the admission?
It lies beyond admissions, because if we want to create that trust, it needs to go both ways. In Cameroon, they need to trust us. Here in the U.S., they need to trust us. So if we're bringing 20 students from Cameroon to MSU, those students need to stay enrolled and pay tuition until they graduate. So we are not just following them, just a ticket to go out to leave Africa and then off you go on your own. No, we're going to help them figure out apartments, where to live. I came to Minnesota, I didn't know it was this cold. I had seen snow before, but not this much. So prep them for what they will see, really, ice on the ground. Be that, I don't want to say mom, but that sister or that person to them. It's all about relationship. That's what we are aiming for.
So to add to what she said, we always say our business is really goals. Why? Because this is a win-win partnership. International students, when they come in the U.S., they make sure they graduate. So this is a good point for institutions, because that will increase the graduation rates. Institutions now are having difficulties, because when you type on Google, institutions with, what's the graduation rate, and you figure out that we just have a 35%, you feel like something's wrong. But then, what can we do to change this number, international students? Not just them, I know domestic students. We have a 50% graduation rate for domestic students here, by the way, which is good. But just to tell you that we're going to walk through this process. We're not just going to let them get here in the U.S. and we leave them. No, we want to make sure that they graduate, and if possibly, they can go back over there and improve their respective countries. So that's our main goal. That's why we call it give back to the community as well. Yep.
One of the things that I'm picking up on here is trust is a big factor that you have to build a lot of integrity into your business model with, particularly with the students back home. I'm going to play the role of a concerned parent now because I have kids in college, and if my children were going to go to a foreign country and you came and convinced my child to use your service, is there some type of a contractual relationship that you'll have? You're charging them funds for your service, which in my opinion seem reasonable, but for those funds, you know, in the face of an already large tuition amount that they'll have to pay over here, how do you obligate yourself beyond just that trust factor?
I'd like to understand the end.
I didn't cut the question that much.
How do we obligate?
If my child is going to use your service and I'm going to give you money, what guarantees me that you're going to follow through with my child and provide this service? Is there a contractual relationship?
Oh.
Is there a document that's signed that says, Micah said, we'll do A, B, C, D, you know, all those types of things, so that your service is spelled out a little more clearly for me as a concerned parent?
Yeah, that's a good question. You want to go on that?
I can start and you can fill up if there's anything I'm missing. We're not going to touch the money because we thought about that. Africans really have this mindset of everybody just out to get them when it comes to finances. And that is why we feel like it would be better for them to just go pay at a bank and just have bring the confirmation they already paid for the fees. So it's not to us, and we will sign a contract because we are dealing with the high schools directly, not with the students individually. The high school, we have if we really want this to be as successful as we want it to be, we will have to step up and not, how will I say that, and not be a con artist. We have to step up to the promises we're giving to the students. That's why I don't know if that answered your question.
I can touch on these too. What we're trying to do is get the job done on a specific amount of time. So let's say you want to get your children in the U.S. Let's say by May 21st. We have the contacts here. We're not random guys just walking in the street. We have partnerships, you know. Because we have these partnerships, these institutions here in the U.S., they trust us. So when we send your child application documents, they just go through the process as fast as they can for you to receive your I-20. Your I-20 is an official document saying that you've been admitted to the university. So deadline will be met. That's how you will trust us, because the second day you will do the transaction, we'll receive a notification saying that you made the payment. You'll get your receipt, like a legal document saying that you made a transaction. Yeah, and after this part, then everything is fine. You get your I-20. We train your children for the visa interview process. They get a visa. We find apartments over there for them, like wherever they want to go, cheap apartment or expensive apartment. And they get there, you feel it, you will see it. Don't worry, we'll work on that.
And as a concerned parent, what I will add will be, we will keep you in the loop every step of the way. Where your application is at, the school just received the application. This is what we got from the school. The I-20 is coming. You're getting this. You're getting that. Every step of the way, everything will be followed through. So the parent know that we are not just, we're not just trying to get the money and run away with it. And because we are partnering up with U.S. institutions, I feel like that's another. I'm looking for terms. I'm just losing terms in English today.
That's French, you understand. That's normal.
Was that? Kinda. It's like it's like MSU, let's say for example MSU was to contract with us. It's like MSU is vouching that we would do that for them. So me going back home and not keeping up to that, I am messing up my relationship with MSU and the students. I would not be a successful business if I had to do that. So that keeps the integrity going on.
So it sounds like there's a lot of man hours, so to speak, into this. And from what I gathered from the $825, there's a pretty small profit margin on that for that many man hours. So what are your other sources of income, or is this actually more of a nonprofit organization? What is the profitability of this?
You can go
okay, we have cash reserves. Cash reserves, I mean by that, she lives in Cameroon, so she won't pay for house. She won't pay for car because she has a car back home. She won't pay for certain things at the beginning. So we're charging this amount of money. It's true that the profit margin is a bit low, but when we look at the long term, we started making profits over the years by building the trust. So at the beginning, it's like we most likely gonna spend a lot of money out of our pockets. Her and I made an agreement of investing some money into it after winning the competition tonight, of course. So, yeah, so we have money out of our pockets to use it. You can consider us as social entrepreneurs. You know, I don't want to use that term because it was a bit hard, but this is what we want to do because we're not getting paid anything, and she will just go there, use our own resources, and go as, you know, like this. Yeah.
We're looking at the long-term goal, the bigger picture.
Yeah.
So if we have to start little by charging the students very little, that would be awesome. My personal dream would be for the institution who contract with us give us the money so the students can get the services for free and don't have to pay for it. That would be my way of giving back to the community. But
yeah, we can work on a type of, you know, milestone like this as well. Yeah. And you saw on the plans that we don't have any loss. Why? Because we're just making sure we having like the expenses, you know, matching the revenues, like really less expenses. So after that, there's nothing, you know, wonderful like what we have here. Yep.
oh, thank you.
Thank you, Vika said. Up next, we will have Mankato Pediatric Respite.
Imagine you are brand new parents who just delivered a beautiful baby. You've been planning for the usual diaper changes and the usual feedings. But now, imagine that you've just been told that that beautiful baby has been diagnosed with a medical illness. Your world has been flipped upside down. You now have to provide 24-hour care for your child. You didn't plan for the multiple trips to the doctor's office and the continuous therapy services that come into your home. And you didn't plan for the 4 a.m. wake-up call being rushed to the emergency room and the abundance of medical equipment that now consumes your home. And as parents, you now struggle to find time when you can leave the home to go grocery shopping or do your usual cooking and cleaning. This is a reality for families, and it gets tough. And now, the babysitter down the block or your family member just are not qualified and they aren't able to provide proper care for your child. They just don't cut it.
As an MSU nursing student, we are required to fulfill between 30 and 60 hours of experiential learning time, hands-on clinical experience. As nursing students, we're hungry for this clinical experience, the opportunity to work with patients and families and apply skills that we've only been able to practice in the lab and on mannequins. And that is why Mankato Pediatric Respite is the real solution.
Together, our business is able to bring the problems that these families face and match them with MSU students who have a desire for real-world hands-on experience.
Welcome, Sharks, and welcome, audience. My name is Katie McDonald, and I am co-founder of Mankato Pediatric Respite.
And my name is Megan Chase, and I'm the other co-founder of Mankato Pediatric Respite. And we are very excited to be here today.
Through our 6-month journey of entrepreneurship, Megan and I have learned how to take a problem and turn it into an opportunity.
Our first innovative solution involves using a fine-tuned matching system where we take these families in need
and match them with nursing students who have a similar passion and interest for what these families are going through.
The core of our first innovative solution to fill the gap is by using an underutilized resource,
nursing students,
and providing them and employing them as a respite care provider to meet the needs within this community.
Our second innovative solution is implementing technology into our business model. We've been working closely with IT students on MSU's campus to design a website, very eye-catching and easy for our clients to use. We've also designed a logo, which to us is more than just a logo. And we've been working with application software designers to develop an application where we can organize our student applications, our family intake, go as paperless as possible. They also allow us to review these things on a secure database.
We want to show you some families that we will be serving through this program. So we want to turn your attention to meet the Harbarth family.
We are the Harbarth family. We have an 11-year-old son, Connor, and 8-year-old daughter, Madison. Madison was born with sacral agenesis syndrome and needs special care. With Madison's needs, Pam and I were the only ones who were able to care for her on a daily basis. If we wanted some time away, we had to take turns going out, with one of us staying home and caring for Madison.
Our family and existing babysitters were not comfortable handling the responsibility of her medical needs. We were introduced to several pediatric respite nursing students who we felt were capable of handling Madison's specialized medical care. This was a win-win situation. The students were able to get hands-on experience, and we were able to have peace of mind as they cared for our daughter with their medical experience. It allowed us to have a stress-free break from our daily medical routines and enjoy some much-needed time away.
Today, Megan and I are excited to announce that we've launched Mankato Pediatric Respite as a sustainable business model. We've been able to do this with continued support of the Minnesota State University Nursing Program and faculty, the Glenn Taylor Nursing Institute for Family and Society, and the Small Business Development Center. Our current trial run consists of 4 families and 5 students who will accumulate roughly 20 to 30 hours of respite care.
So let's take a look. What makes our business model work is that we will be charging families, through research, $25 an hour for skilled respite care. And on the flip side, we will be paying students between $10 to $12 an hour for the care provided. Just this one element of our business plan allows for positive cash flow.
With a 62% gross margin, any costs that we incur by implementing our sliding scale fee for families who may not be able to afford our flat rate of $25 will be offset by our volunteer nursing students, who will account for roughly 25% of our employee base at any given time.
There's many different areas that we will be using to ensure the growth of this business. One of them being that we will have relations with our strategic alliances to ensure that we continue to grow the amount of families that we serve each year.
On that same note, we plan to maintain a working relationship with the Minnesota State University Nursing Program to also ensure that we have a continued inflow of nursing students to supply our business needs.
We have elected to go as an independent nonprofit. This also allows us to continue to have access to grant applications, donations, and funds. As well, another way we will be growing is by, one of our goals to grow is by expanding out to other nursing programs within Minnesota. We are also excited because Mankato Pediatric Respite back in January was able to accept a $4,000 grant from Mankato Clinic Foundation.
The opportunity of the Big Ideas Prize Challenge money gives Megan and I the opportunity to scale our business at a much faster rate than we are currently able to accommodate. Data collected from the Blue Earth County Public Health, Mankato Pediatric Therapy Services, and also the Mankato School District, we've identified over 200 families in this community that could use and benefit from respite services.
So look, that's 200 families right here in this community that have a medically fragile child that struggle to find time away from the home or struggle to find time just to do daily activities. Katie and I have had the personal experience of providing respite care ourselves to 2 families in need. We've been able to see firsthand the impact as well as the energy that we've brought back into families' homes by being there for these families. Katie and I have felt this impact, and it's touched us, and we want to spread that on to other MSU nursing students. We now want to show you a family and tell you about Axel's story.
Hello, my name is Eric Christensen, and first and foremost, my wife and I want to say how grateful we are of Mankato Pediatric Respite. With impeccable timing, an angel named Katie came into our home and asked if she could watch our kids for a couple of hours so my wife and I could have dinner together. Heidi and I were baffled. Someone would be willing to do that? Couldn't they see what was going on in our home? We were descending into bedlam. We were scared. Could she handle it? Could we? We took Katie up on our offer. It was difficult to verbalize what the 2 to 3 hours of respite did for us. It didn't resolve Axel's health problems. It didn't completely eliminate the stress of it all from our minds. It did, however, provide Heidi and I an opportunity to have a moment together, a moment to breathe easier, come together, reconnect, and reclaim our partnership. It allowed for a renewed recommitment to the cause, our baby's survival. It was like the sun sneaking through the thunderstorm. It gave us hope. Somehow, our new normal was a little easier to stomach. I am still puzzled at just how beneficial it was. Heidi and I have met plenty of parents with special needs children throughout our travels in and out of clinics and hospitals. I guarantee that all of these parents will tell you how desperately respite is needed. We are frightened, exhausted, and struggling to care for our children, spouses, and ourselves. We want someone to tell us that it's safe to leave for a while. Someone we trust is qualified to care for our children while we do so. Someone who will tell us not to feel guilty about needing time away from our ill child. Someone who will tell us that they've got this. Go rest. Go have fun for a couple hours. Our son Axel is currently, knock on wood, doing quite well. He is eating, pooping, and living large as a happy baby. He still has some exceptional concerns attached to him, but he is thriving. He will have heart surgery in the future to remove a muscle bundle in front of his pulmonary artery and to fix a large ventricular septal defect. We are hopeful. With all sincerity from our family, myself, Heidi, Odin, and Axel, we thank you.
80% of families with a disabled child say that they are at their breaking point.
These are real people, real families, and we are connecting them with students who have a real desire for hands-on experience. And that is why Mankato Pediatric Respite is the real solution.
I like having nursing students take care of me because they are really smart.
Thank you.
Great presentation.
Thank you for all you do for the children and the parents. You can't imagine what they go through and what they help sometimes.
Could you share with us a little bit about what minimum qualifications are required for the parents, or what regulations there may be that a student has to be at a certain certain level of accomplishment, if you will, before they can feel comfortable to have them in a home?
Yeah, just to clarify, you're wanting to know what the qualifications of the student are? Okay.
Yeah. So we played with this idea. There's 4 semesters of nursing students in the Minnesota State University. We've elected to go with students in 2nd through 4th semester. So that's kind of the qualifications as they've made it to the 2nd semester of the nursing program. As far as we have them fill out an application, and then we personally interview them as well. Our application includes areas of interest, passion, resume, all the things that you would generally see on an application for a job. So that's how we do that part.
Yeah, and then within the nursing program, 1st semester is when you stay on campus for the most part. You get the simulation, the hands-on. You learn your core concepts, which are needed, and you take them all the way through and beyond. But so we have chosen 2nd, 3rd, 4th for the purpose that when you enter into a 2nd semester, you start using those hands in clinical experiences, or using your skills, hands-on work in clinical experience. So at that point, you're working in hospitals and facilities, home care, that type of thing. So that was our separation to pick 2nd, 3rd, and 4th.
Mm-hmm. On the trusting part that you kind of said, well, we did a family focus group, and one of the biggest things that we identified was that trust. So some of these parents haven't left their kids alone at all since they've been born. So leaving them with someone right away is kind of a big deal. So what Meg and I want to do is we go into the home and we meet the family, we do an intake, kind of see what their needs are, what their expectations are from us, and then we go back to the students and we find a student that matches that family's needs to the best of our ability.
We understand as a parent it's not easy to leave your student, so Katie and I want to play that role to ease the comfort of families and make sure it works.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned briefly the website. Talk a little bit about what you see using that for. Is it for matching up with families? Is it, what kind of information might you be gathering and storing?
Okay. So our website contains both Megan and I's bios. We just had a professional video made of us that we want to put on there as well. As far as the students, we're going to have students have a professional headshot and also a bio of them so families can kind of get an idea of who we're working with. Additionally, we have a space where they can contact us. We don't have our application forms on there, we just kind of want to see what their needs are. They can leave us a note. In the future, we also have hopes for doing events. So this is kind of a place that we can organize and spread the word about those.
Do you plan to compensate your student nurses for transportation costs as they, go back and forth to the homes?
As of right now, we are, as we're working to expand our business, we are hoping right now to stay in the local Mankato area. As far as expanding, we would look further into that about doing travel costs, but right now, as far as being in the Mankato area and roughly around a 15-mile radius, no, we will not be, that was not in the covering of that.
Could you tell us what other costs are involved in running the business other than your compensation to the nursing students?
Mm-hmm. So, like businesses, we got to have insurance. So that's one of our main overhead costs that we'll be paying. Insurance for ourselves, board of directors, and as well as our students. We also are going to have hosting fees for our website that we have to pay, as well as legal fees. We are planning to hire a lawyer to help us on the legal end of it, things we're not as sure about. So,
yep. As well, other costs that come with that is that we would like to have an office that we can run out of, as well as potentially purchase iPads to help us easier run through the website, the application processes, and get that moving faster.
Mm-hmm.
In reading your business plan, I noticed that you had a trial program,
mm-hmm.
Kind of a graduated launch. I thought that was a great idea. I wanted to be sure and mention that. Your model has volunteer and paid students.
Mm-hmm.
How will you decide who's paid and who isn't?
So, kind of like I said in the beginning, as a nursing student, we're required to fulfill between 30 and 60 hours of experiential learning, which is volunteer work. We call it experiential learning. It's hands-on clinical experience. But once they complete those hours is when they would transition to a paid employee.
Makes sense. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Any regulations that you've run into so far? Like for example, HIPAA. Is there any reporting you have regarding healthcare,
mm-hmm. being
a provider, that type of thing?
Yes, HIPAA.
Yeah. So that's obviously a huge component, and so we are in the works of figuring out, as far as doing things online and that type of thing, mm-hmm. making sure that all of that is secured and nothing is going to break HIPAA. So that's still,
we're learning a lot
in the research. Yeah. I'm going to go somewhere. Because we are outside of, we are an independent nonprofit ourselves with the support coming from Minnesota State University. Something that we've run into but is fine to keep going is just every student does a background check through just being a nursing student. But through our program being totally different, we will be having to run our own background checks is one other area that's come about. Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Cynthia Remo Avade. I was born in Nigeria. I majored in mathematics with a minor in environmental science, and I am a proud tree hugger. Yep, I can see the eyes rolling in the audience. Maybe you're all just jealous because the trees won't hug you. Or perhaps, maybe it's because tree hugging, that is being environmentally conscious and choosing cleaner, greener options, just isn't as simple as it should be. Recycling requires constant sorting. Electric vehicles can be very expensive. And adequate conservation of fresh water might require us to take showers just once a week. The constant theme here is burden. A heavy burden is placed on you in order to be environmentally progressive. We are Teletalks. Our mission is to bring to market green, affordable, and simple solutions. Today, we unveil our technologically advanced user-friendly, new age flagship service, home delivery via flight. But first, the myth. Here at Teletalks, the D word isn't damn, it's drones. Drones, drones, drones. While performing a market analysis, we surveyed several individuals, asking them a handful of questions. When asked what these two images were, nearly everyone immediately identified them as drones. When asked what they were used for, this was the response.
Just for like surveillance purposes and like
spy typey things.
Take pictures and stuff.
I know people have used them for like photography
or surveillance too.
Pictures and videos taken by drones for spying.
You can use that for like search and rescue.
It's like a supervisor looking areas.
Military stuff, like bombing.
War. Strikes.
Like a war. War, yeah. Spying. Yeah, I know people are paranoid about them.
The results are not surprising. A simple web search of the word drone returns sharp images of aggressive robots armed with surveillance cameras and all sorts of weaponry. This has led many to fear the commercial use of unmanned aerial vehicles in our neighborhoods. People fear that their privacy might be breached, that they may be weaponized, or that they might just fall out of the sky and knock them over their heads. The fact that these machines can think and act on their own is what truly strikes fear. However, the evidence proves otherwise. For example, UAVs have replaced thousands of troops in the battlefield, saving lives. The artificial intelligence found in our smartphones has fueled an amazing cultural revolution. This smart system, called the Da Vinci, assists surgeons to accurately complete complex procedures such as open heart surgery, again, saving lives. Ladies and gentlemen, the idea that technology empowered by artificial intelligence should be feared because it will one day take over the world and destroy us all is one not only plagiarized straight out of the movie Terminator, but like the movie Terminator, is pure fiction. That is the myth. We are Teletalks, and this is an autonomous quadcopter expedited aerial transport vehicle. Please do not call it a drone because it is not a drone. It is an aquavie. Powered by clean, green, rechargeable, and abundant lithium polymer batteries. Custom designed with patent-pending intricacies. Able to fly at up to 30 miles per hour with a 2,000-foot altitude range. Able to lift and carry a payload of 22 pounds. Complete with audio, proximity, GPS, and wireless communication modules. Surveillance cameras, missiles, and grenades not included. Calling our aquavie a drone is like calling a Hummer a tank. Although many of us would probably enjoy riding either one, they're just not the same. In addition to aquavies, a key component of our business model is the docking station. Now, due to proprietary purposes, we are unable to disclose full details about the docking station. However, to give brief insight, docking stations act as a hub for the aquavies to take off, land, receive, and deliver packages. They will be elevated a safe distance from the ground and any dangerous objects, and can either be standalone public exterior units, or they can be privately connected to a home, apartment, or business for maximum convenience. Each docking station will have a user-friendly interface that serves as a safe intermediary between individuals and aquavies. Please observe above as we illustrate our business and its advantages with a few local examples. Scenario 1. On a warm and sunny day, if Jack and Jill lived in the residential area by MSU, and wanted to purchase household items and food from the businesses on Madison Avenue, they would have to drive 4 miles up the hill. According to Google Maps, after spending some time at their store, they would have probably spent 16 minutes driving a total of 8 miles to and fro, and would likely spend a total of 20 minutes on their entire endeavor. Scenario 2. It's another warm and sunny day, but Jack and Jill are sick and tired of the hill, and again need household items and food from Madison Avenue. They order takeout for their food, which at the earliest takes 10 minutes to arrive through 4 miles of traffic, but have little to no delivery options for their household items as these businesses simply don't deliver. Which brings us to scenario 3. It's a cold winter's day. Jack and Jill still tired of the hill, still no delivery options for their household items, and due to bad weather and high traffic, their takeout is going to take twice as long to arrive. Yeah, bad scenario. Or is it? Let's take this from a scenario T, or scenario 3, I'm sorry, to a scenario T. TeleTalks will create partnerships to place docking stations on site at local businesses, as well as rent out docking stations to individual homeowners and property management companies. These docking stations will be replete within the local community, many with aquavies lying idle, creating an interconnected network. Having a docking station enables businesses who have never offered delivery to now affordably do so with little overhead. Our method of delivery is flight. This not only means that bad weather and high traffic are negligible, but also that via direct flight, we cut delivery times in half. With a 22-pound payload, we can carry any food served at any restaurant, as well as many household and retail items. Clothing, electronics, diapers, light groceries, and textbooks, just to name a few. Since this is a multi-directional local network, not only can companies deliver to individuals, but also to other companies. Now, even more exciting is that for the first time ever, TeleTalks gives power to individuals like those of you in the audience today to quickly, affordably, and safely deliver items to local businesses and individuals with docking stations in under 10 minutes, no matter where you are in town. Share a home-cooked meal with a friend across town without ever having to leave your home. Forget your keys at a friend's place? Have them fly it over to you before you even make it back home. Deliver items faster than it takes you to heat up your car and put on a coat and mittens. Living in Minnesota, if that doesn't bring a warm smile to your face, then I don't know what will. Ladies and gentlemen, this is scenario T. This is TeleTalks. Completing Jack and Jill's Madison Avenue delivery in roughly 5 minutes, our business model enables Jacks and Jills to conquer hills everywhere, quickly, affordably, and with simplicity. Is there a demand for this service? When asked if they would utilize our services, this was the response.
Sometimes. I suppose I would.
You know, so then like if you live in the dorms and don't have a car, that's super convenient.
Would you use it?
Yeah, I mean, I can see it being helpful. Yeah.
So you think you would use the service then?
Okay.
Oh, I like that.
Definitely. I think I would.
Yeah, I would use it.
Yeah, I would use it too.
Do you think your customers will find value in the service?
Yeah, pretty sure.
An overwhelming yes. When asked how much they would pay for the delivery,
$5.
Like $5.
$5?
Probably $5. $5,
Right.
$10, like $8.
Let's say
$5? Okay.
That's what I was gonna say. Is $5.
$5?
Yeah, like $5 to $10.
Yeah. 5 to 10.
5 to 10.
Oh, really?
TeleTalks debut delivery charge, $2. Is this profitable? Local pizza delivery alone is a $10 billion industry. TeleTalks will generate clear, tangible financial returns and is a sound investment opportunity because we provide businesses and companies with a powerful opportunity to secure competitive leverage in their chosen sectors. In Mankato, with $50,000 seed money, we project a total revenue of $860,000 with net profits of $230,000. This multiplies as we grow from city to city. Does this benefit society? As a tree hugger, I tell you that the reduction in greenhouse gases that accompanies individuals utilizing our services on a massive scale is not only profitable to TeleTalks, but also profits our planet without placing that burden on you. From our research, we know that you have many questions about our team, our company, our competitors. safety, the possibility of hidden birds in the sky, FAA regulations, and many others. We invite you to ask them. We have answers which may surprise you and intend to use the next 10 minutes to expand and bring you to believe in IntelliTalk's Aquavies. With every delivery, a smile. Thank you.
That. We have some slides that might help us answer some of the questions you have. Fire away.
The devices as you move around town, are there places where you can't fly? Any sort of restrictions in that way?
Yeah, so you saw our team above, and there are a lot of questions that we still have. A little bit of background about us. We discovered this tournament in January, a little late in the game. A grad student, my professor, just gave us some info and said there's a competition going on, and right away we jumped on it, and we've been working tirelessly since then. So to answer that question more detailed, we're looking for somebody to add to our team who has a background in aeronautics and also in supply chain management so that we can get more of these questions answered. But in general, yeah, there are going to be definitely places that we won't be able to fly around, places, no-fly zones, tall buildings, things of the like. So I hope that answers your question.
Cynthia mentioned a $50,000 investment in order to get started in Mankato. Where is the source for the additional?
Should we just do an executive summary?
Well, this is one of the reasons why we're here. We're planning on starting with you guys. He also has been, we've been using a lot of our personnel money. We don't have $50,000, of course, but we plan on applying for a lot of grants, and we've been talking to a lot of people about this, and we're quite impressed with what we're getting back. So we're quite positive that with more opportunities like this, we can actually get started.
Yeah, and actually, Cynthia, we have a little bit of a summary. Could I get the clicker, please? Yeah, if you could go to the executive summary. This might answer a couple of your questions, and I'll try to be quick about it, not take too long. There we go. All right. Great. So, a couple questions you might have about
more sharing the sky with planes.
Whether
Today,
or not
the
this is
Federal
possible
Aviation
with
Administration announced that 4 more companies are approved to fly commercial drones. Today, Trimble Navigation Limited, VDOS Global, Clayco Incorporated, and Woolpert Incorporated can count themselves among the few that the FAA is slowly approving to use drones commercially. These companies will use them to conduct aerial surveys and monitor construction sites.
And then,
not sympathetic to fears that drones will invade the public's privacy, because there are already devices that can do that. The public just doesn't think about them.
We're not going to make Apple take the camera out of their iPhones. Not going to happen. We have initial negative things about things we don't understand or that we feel we can't control. And drones or UASs clearly fall into that category. They're high-tech devices. They have extraordinary capabilities. They fly.
So why did I show you those 2 videos? Because I wanted to highlight where we are right now. We are in the development phase. We're very, very confident about the viability of this product and the demand in the market. We feel that the key thing we need to get right now is the right product, working the right way. And that's part of why we're here. Please, if you could bring that screen up again, please. Pardon me.
Not sympathetic.
Okay, so right here are drone testing areas that the FAA has approved, right? Right now there are 5 companies that you can see that have been awarded contracts to be able to fly drones commercially out there. And what we're looking to do is become the next company that does that. We feel that once we're awarded this contract, lots of progress can be made due to the amount of data we have on demand that's out there presently. How do we plan on developing and how are we going to get an edge on our competitors, right? Okay. All of us are from Nigeria. Right? And aside from the plan in America, which is to use the FAA-approved sites for doing drone testing, the way that we feel we can get a competitive advantage is by working in Nigeria. Why Nigeria? Well, it's a country that's very diverse. There's heavy poverty in this region and a lot of congestion as well, traffic congestion, as you can see from this picture. This is an area where we can test this kind of device in this scenario. But not only is there heavy poverty, but you also have the other extreme. You have affluence to another degree. What this is right here is Echo Island. It is literally a landmass that's being built from scratch. They have a levee problem in one of the biggest cities, Lagos, and they're creating land to basically make a new city out of. And we see this as an opportunity for ourselves to expand from scratch and in a manner that no other company will have. And right now, it is about getting the money to be able to develop further. We've so far spent about $3,000 on this project. About $750 has come from a grant from the university here, and we've been continuing to work on it. And with that, I just want to say this, to summarize everything. The long-term gross margins for this, although the initial costs are extremely high, in about 3 to 5 years, our gross margins jump to 90% or more. Why is that? Because after getting approval from the FAA, we'll be able to have many quadcopters be operated by one operator, so 4 or 8 in the air by one. And what that does is it decreases our costs exponentially. The other reason we get to this margin is because the cost of running these things, the direct cost of business, is electricity. They run off of lithium polymer batteries. And electricity is about 20 cents per kilowatt hour right now. That is cheap. That is dirt cheap. Right. Basically, long story short, to do a trip, maximum cost for us, 5 cents. This is also why we can charge $2. So I will stop taking up time, and I'll open up for questions. Basically, it gets down to money. That's what it gets down to.
Yeah.
So,
very important part.
Sorry, fire away. Yeah.
They're watching on a monitor as they're flying the quadcopter. How can someone fly 4 of them at once and avoid running into things?
That's a great question. So that clip that you saw,
go for it.
That clip that you saw was one person manually controlling it, probably doing FPV. Right? The quadcopters that are used in the military, for example, they have autonomous control, which means that the microprocessor inside is using a GPS to control where it goes, to send that information back to a central station, and basically they run themselves. They have minds of their own. Now, this is more semi-autonomous and completely autonomous, meaning that, of course, it can go and you tell it the GPS coordinate where to land, and it can do that. That technology is out there. But the system we have is going to be such that at any point in time, we can take manual control of the Aqua V as well. Sorry, any other questions?
So again, just to add to that, by itself, they're not going to run into each other because they're being controlled by GPS. But then for more safety, we have people on ground at every point in time. So that is not going to be a case. It's not going to happen. I guarantee you that.
Sure.
And these won't have cameras on them?
None whatsoever. A lot of people think that they have to have cameras to run. And that's not true at all. If you look at the sides here, to the sides and to the bottom, there are I'm sorry, you probably can't see it. There are proximity sensors. And long and short of that, if I'm running towards you, but I have something telling me how far away I am, and if I have that information all the time, I can know when to stop and not hit you. And this has that on 4 sides and the bottom as well. And more developments coming. See, this is really the key of it. We need to test. We've had 2 test flights thus far, and one of them has been a crash. And we learned so much from that crash that our most valuable piece is one of the broken pieces from that. This is why I talked about Nigeria before, and that's the advantage that we think we're going to have on any competitors, and we hope you ask about competitors. We hope you ask about demand. I think we're running out of time, but I want to give you more questions, so please continue.
Does Nigeria have similar FAA types of regulations, or is one of the reasons that that's attractive to you is that they don't have some of them?
They do not have those kind of regulations, so it's very good for us to go there and fly. We would not be having government problems like we're having in the U.S., even right now in the U.S. we have a pending petition to the FAA, and we showed you those companies that already got approved by the FAA, so we're really positive. Nigeria is free. We can go there and just find some airspace and do our thing, but we're also pretty positive that we will get approval from the FAA.
And do you have someone legal on your team? Legal background?
If anyone here is in legal, we are taking applications.
Right.
Yeah, and on that, just to add to that, Nigeria is the sandbox everybody wanted when they were a kid. We get the best of both worlds and freedom to do what we need to do with it. Something that other companies that are trying to do this just don't have. That's the plain truth. Please.
Could you clarify your end-to-end solution? Is the craft built by you, the software run by you, built by you, and the docking? I understand the docking station to be proprietary.
Sure.
But
So,
is it end-to-end, or are you looking to buy some pieces to make it come together?
Okay. So as an investor, you retain a lot of the capital by investing in Teletalks. The reason is because, yes, the quadcopter is built by us and owned by us. The docking station is built by us and owned by us. We only rent out docking stations to businesses and individuals. It's like a satellite dish, if you want to think of it that way. So as we spend money, as we spend capital on developing these, we don't lose anything. And later on, we have options by doing that. We can sell them to people. We can sell them to the government, for example. No, it's all ours. Great question.
So you've had 2 test flights. What's your immediate plan? What's the next month look like?
More test flights, more crashes, more data. We're in this, and it's very exciting, you know. I mean, he gets a little down when things don't go that well. I get super excited. Broken pieces, great. We record all the test flights as well. We look at what we did wrong, and we grow from that. And it's that process over and over and over again that's going to take away the fear that's behind some of these UAVs. It's refining it. You know, we feel like Apple did when they were making the iPod and looking at all these MP3 players out there. Like, that's really how we feel about all these other things. I don't mean to overreach, but...
And what we do see, though, is improvements. It's not like we are crashing and nothing is happening. We're seeing what we did wrong, we're improving it, and it's getting better. I mean, our quadcopter basically, it took off the ground. I mean, that was amazing. We said I go down, I feel, yeah, I don't like to see my projects not work. I'm an engineer, so, but then I expect things like that because I'm an engineer. But when we see it take off the ground, we actually saw it lift off the ground, then we know we're in business. We know we can actually get this to work.
A little insight into that, because I know you're probably thinking it went up, they all go up, right? No, the thing is that Amazon Prime, for example, yep, I said I'm afraid of them. Amazon Prime, for example, can only lift 2 kilograms, right? Ours is lifting 10 kilograms. It's a precedent. We've only found another group online that's attempted to do this, and they don't have very good mobility. This thing is super heavy. With the batteries inside, right now it's just for show. Don't worry, it's not going to turn on. But with the batteries inside, it's extremely heavy. It is 10 kilograms just on its own. So when we saw it lift at 42% throttle, 42% throttle, that's not even half its power, we knew we were in business. And it's about fine-tuning now. It's about making sure they don't land on people's heads, you know. It's about making sure that the deliveries are on time, safe, having a system that works consistently from start. If we do that, we're in business. We're not looking to put something out that's going to crash right away. That's death. You know, we want to put something quality out from jump. We're a long-term investment.
We're very confident.
Sorry. Yeah, more questions, please.
Obviously, customer satisfaction is what you're really after here.
Yes, sir.
Have you given any consideration to the upset housewife whose dozen eggs showed up on her front doorstep that are all smashed? Who owns the product, in other words?
Yeah.
From
Can we,
point of from point of pickup to point of delivery, are you going to own that product while it's in the air? And if it is delivered damaged, do you reimburse who?
That's a great question. We, during insurance, Cynthia talked to him. We have an advisor, Volk Transfer, Mr. Volk, Troy Volk. Great advisor. He's given us a lot of information about insurance, which is one of the major questions people ask about this is, okay, if I'm flying Diamonds and it gets lost, what happens? And there aren't many insurers, but Wings is one of the major insurers of aerial transport. And what I want to say about insurance is, initially, it's going to be very high, right? And that's because, just like everybody in this room right now, there's not that much faith in these things, and you shouldn't have it. But as we make deliveries, as things are successful, more companies will be able to insure us, creating more supply, decreasing our cost. So that's how we feel about that. Please, more questions. Please. Oh, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Welcome, Night Owl 4000.
Good evening, everybody. Really glad to see everybody here. So I want to talk to you about my product. It's launched by my company, Night Owl Technologies. This product is a 3-tier integrated software system developed for process improvement of the nation's current emergency dispatch system. In case you're lost and you're wondering what I'm talking about, the emergency dispatch system is a fairly simple thing. You pick up your phone and you call 911 if you're ever in trouble. They ask you, how can we help you? And then you say, well, I've got a fire at my house or somebody's trying to kill me. So what we're trying to do here is we're trying to make that a lot better. This thing is still stuck in the 1960s. All you can do is just call the police. It's not always very efficient. In case somebody has a gun to your head, it doesn't really work. So what we're trying to do here is we've developed this, we're working to develop this phone application. Works on a standard smartphone, whether you've got an iOS or an Android. And what it does is that you have a one-click launch, a single-click launch. And what it does is, that's the process right there. It alerts the nearest possible squad car there is. So basically, the police get an alert right away. There's no middle ground here. You don't have to pick up a phone, wait online, call, explain them your situation. They get an alert right away, and it informs them via video, a live location tracking via GPS, so they know where you are and they know where you're headed, and they can see everything in the room, they can hear everything in the room. And what it can also do is, if we customize it in such a way, it can alert people who are nearby who have the same application on their phone. That is a customizable feature, though it's not something you can necessarily turn off or on. It's up to you whether you want to keep it or not. And how does this work? So you have the app trigger right there, and then you have a software that we're going to build for squad cars. And what it does is it's very simple. The squad car, while driving, receives an alert, and it has a very simple option. You either follow emergency or you ignore it. So if you click follow, it reroutes your GPS and it takes you to the point of location. And in the meanwhile, what it also does is we have a desktop software with PSAPs. Those are public service answering points. These are the people who you basically call and they answer your phone. They sit there and they have a desktop computer in front of them, standard thing. And what happens is that they can, on their software, they can see what's happening in the room. They can track your live location, and they can dispatch any emergency personnel that need to be dispatched. Next thing you can do is, if you take a look at it, so we wanted to talk about, is there anybody else that's doing this? Because it's so value driven that, you know, how come we're still stuck in the 1960s where you have to call the police? So we figured out, let's see if there's anybody else who's doing anything similar. We found this phone application. It doesn't have some of the other features that we have. All it does is that if you press the power button twice, it sends a text message to, say, 5 of your close friends, and all it says is, hey, I'm here, and it shows a location, a one-time location, come help me. That's not usually very helpful because your friends may not be nearby and your friends are not the police. So this is what it kind of looks like, the screenshot right there. And the interesting thing is that it has anywhere between 1 million to 5 million downloads. So, and this is not even in the United States. This is in India. You know, in India, a country, the infrastructure is not nearly as great for emergency dispatch as it is in the United States or some of the other more developed parts of the world. And next thing that we have right here is Be Safe. This is a phone application right there. And one thing I forgot to mention, though, is celebrities are in fact associating with this. This is she is apparently an A-list celebrity in India, and she's the brand ambassador of this brand. Next, we have Be Safe. This is an American app developed here in California, and that's Jada Smith. That's Will Smith's wife, a very famous actor, and she was on CNN. And CNN was while they were interviewing her, they quoted this app as being the next big thing, or they called it the new 911, or the app that could save your life. Now, we're not an app business. This is not how we work. The app is just the trigger. We are a service-based business. How we work is that the app is the initial thing that triggers a response for help, single click, you don't need to call, and the squad car, the software and the squad car receives an alert from you, so they come and help you. The PSAPs receive an alert from you, and they can deploy the squad car. They receive from you information that is critical at times. They know your location. They can see what's happening in the room. It's pretty fantastic when you think about it, instead of just simply calling. And sometimes you don't have the time to call somebody. Situations are very fragile. There was this case, one of the officers was talking about it, where a woman called him and she pretended that she was ordering pizza because her husband was in the room, and if she blatantly said, "Come help me," she'd probably be dead by the time they got there. And in situations like these, silently alerting somebody is pretty awesome. One of the other things is, though, currently the smartphone usage in the United States is at about 68%, and by 2018, I think they said it was probably going to go up to 76% with an increasing trend. So the newer generation is going to find it much easier to adapt to something like this. Now this app here, Be Safe, has about 500,000 to 1 million downloads. Moving on, I want to talk to you about what people think about this. And I did my own personal research. I also did research on the internet for what kind of reactions people had to this. Do they like this service? What do they feel about it? And some of the reactions there were pretty positive. Like you can see here, right here, "Thank you for fixing this app. It's the best by far. Has saved my daughter's life multiple times because she has seizures. All she needs to do is send a click and police or anybody nearby is on the way." You can take a look right here. People want to make sure that their daughters are using it. This guy right here, he's pretty happy that his daughter is using it. And this woman is apparently being threatened by some guy, and the police cannot help her at the moment. They don't have any legal evidence. So she's relying on this app for some sort of help to make sure that she's safe. Now, one of the problems is that how is it going to help her? Who's going to help her? It's not connected to the police. It's just an app. It's like Facebook or Instagram. There's no revenue. There's no service there. We provide the service here. Now, how do we know that the police is willing to work with this? Recently, the police showed a lot of initiative. They wanted to actually change the system. They wanted to come out of the 1960s, update themselves. So what they introduced is text to 911. What this thing does is now you can actually text the police. And some of these statistics we had is that I think they launched in September 2013, and so far we have about 288, if I'm correct. Yes, about 288 individual PSAPs have accepted this technology in just around a year and a half, with about 3 states, New Hampshire, Vermont, and Maine, accepting this technology completely. So there is a market out there. The police is willing to change if we're willing to produce something that gives them extreme amount of value, which is what I think that we have. Some of the problems, though, with text to 911 is that it does not give your location. The article clearly said that if you're texting us, please mention where you are. Well, if you're in the back of somebody's trunk, I don't know how that would work. So the other thing is there's not enough time to text. And there are situations where if somebody's chasing you, how are you going to take your phone out and text the police, or are you going to take it out, call them? No, you can't do that. But what you can do is press one button, and even if you had the phone in your hand, in your pocket, you're running around a park, somebody's going to get you. The nearest squad car is going to come and get you. And the user sometimes may not even be aware of their own location. How, people are knocked out. They don't know. It can be very critical in a moment of life and death. If you have just pressed the button once, that's enough to save your life. That's pretty awesome. The other thing is body cameras. Recently, there's been a lot of talk about this. Sorry for that. South Carolina State passed this legislation on April 2015. Police is now accepting body cameras. What they're doing is they're making this a standard procedure for many people, and police have to wear a body camera. They transmit video via the cloud, and it goes in its stores. Where 2 policemen, they look at the cloud application, they analyze all the video, and then they delete that video 30 days after if they don't need it for further investigation. And one of the amazing things that happened just today is that Obama actually got $75 million grants for 3 years to actually aid to actually aid PSAPs in launching this, and they're going to get $20 million of that for 50 nations this year alone. That's the end. Is there any questions? Shut that off. Shut it off.
Are the PSAPs the 911 dispatcher, or are they more like an alarm service? That's you know.
The PSAPs are the people who, when you pick up your phone and you dial 911, the people who are at the other end who answer your phone and who then dispatch the police to you, they are the PSAPs. And the problem here is that it's not just that you have to dial, it's that you have to reach this middle person here before the police actually comes to you. Response times are fairly ridiculous sometimes, especially if you live in a rural area. So this, our software system actually almost even makes the PSAPs disappear for the moment before help comes to you. While they're still receiving data, they're still receiving video, your live location, which can be stored for investigation later on, and they may even actually be able to provide support via, like a microphone or something that police have. They can say something like, hey, we can see about 3 people in the room here on video, so, I don't know, enter through the back gate, something like that. Or we got this guy's confession on the phone, we can hear everything, so go ahead and make the arrest. Don't worry about any legal proceedings.
Have you spoken with someone that works at an organization like that about this idea?
Yes, we have actually, I can't name them right now, but there is this company here, a local Minnesotan company. They sell technology to the police. This is pretty much what they do. They don't do this, but they make, lots of other different types of solutions, such as I can't remember off the top of my head, but GPS solutions, many other things. And we spoke to them about it. They wanted to have a meeting with us, but we did not want to meet at this time right now because I would rather have a prototype to take to that meeting before just blurting out an idea that may or may not have many problems before it gets fixed. So that's kind of how it works.
One other question. What would prevent a criminal from having a bunch of friends call squad cars, bring them over here while they're committing a crime over here?
Same thing. How could you prevent that if somebody called 911 and said, hey, come help me? If you want to ambush them, you do the same thing.
One of the other items is that since I've got 4 really active grandkids, they're always playing with their parents' phone. And how many times has your son called 911? Too many. How do you prevent that from them? I mean,
yeah,
they're 2 years old and they're figuring 911 out and just not pushing the button.
It's very simple. One of the things is that, of course, there comes prevention, which is, if you have a passcode on your phone and you have an application like there, try not to give it to your kids. That's the obvious one. But if they do, even if you yourself press it accidentally and you want to cancel it, there is a system for, and that's going to be different for each phone because we have, the Apple iPhone and then we have Android, and it's not that difficult to program though. So we can have a specific passcode or a key code that you can press to deactivate it, and it'll be a few seconds before the police are alerted. However, the critical thing is that in those few seconds, even before you actually cancel that, video and your location are already transmitted to the cloud. So it saves you, and in case you cancel it, it cancels that alert and it deletes that video. So, even if you accidentally press it, you can definitely cancel it. And one thing that I forgot to mention is the price point. You guys this is a portal here that's offering about $8,000 to $10,000. We've spoken to software vendors overseas because over here it was a lot more expensive to produce. I think the iOS quote that they made for the phone app was about $2,500, and then the web application, which PSAPs will be using, that's another $2,500. And for the software for the squad cars, They said that they can make a temporary module because it requires integration to the current systems that the car is running. So it's going to be a working prototype, but it's going to require integration, and it's not going to cost that much. So your $8,000 are actually going to go a long way. You're actually going to see a built-in prototype, and then we're going to be connecting with a company over here locally in Minnesota or within the United States. And we can also take the other route where we can actually take the built prototype and look for venture capitalists in, say, San Francisco.
So since you mentioned prototype, can you talk more specifically about where you're at in that process? And I'm curious if you're going to start with Android or iOS.
Okay, we're going to start with iOS. One of the reasons why we want to start with the iOS is there's this really cool feature that you can add. For example, if I take my phone and I just pressed alert, and remember that situation I talked about where this woman could actually potentially get hit by her husband? Well, what if her husband got a hold of her phone and it says, you know, calling 911 or transmitting video to 911? What the iOS does is we can cover it with a blank screen. So it doesn't look like an alert's gone. If somebody was to even snatch your phone, just put it in your pocket and, I don't know, put you in the back of their trunk, they wouldn't even know that they're being tracked right now. So that's why we wanted to start with the iOS, and it's much easier to develop on that too. As far as the web application is, that's probably the easiest part to develop, especially with the cloud-based technologies that we have right now. It's no biggie at all. Yeah. Like I said, prevention is the best way here, but if you know that you're going to be giving your phone to your child, software is not a very difficult thing to program. Maybe we can set up something like a child lock or something. So if you know you're going to give it to your kid, just press that button. It's just a single click. Let the kid have their fun with it. Anything else?
I have a question about, in your business plan, you speak specifically about personnel and outsourcing a couple of software engineers overseas. I guess I'm kind of curious what your backup plan would be there should you have a major issue with the software and one or both of those engineers decided to not show up for the day.
That's a great question. We don't even need them, actually. A lot of cloud-based solutions now, what they do is they will operate that for you. And what they'll do is, in case there's any problems, there's SaaS, there's PaaS, and what they do is, in case something goes wrong with your code, they'll troubleshoot it for you. There is a service to pay for it. You have to pay for it, and it's a lot cheaper than actually hiring people to do it. The hiring procedure would probably not happen until a lot down, when you're down the road, when you're serving at least 30, 40 counties that we would probably consider having our own personnel, and we're looking to expand into other states.
I think you also mentioned in your business plan Hennepin County once or twice. Have you already worked with them? Have you established where you might start your prototype testing?
Hennepin County is one of those counties that would be a pretty nice place to start, considering the geographical regions that they cover. It is Minneapolis, central location, and it's surrounded by a lot of suburbs. So the geographical location of Hennepin County makes it pretty attractive. But it wouldn't be such a bad place to actually start here in Blue Earth County either, considering that we have MSU, we have South Central, we have 2 high schools, Bethany. So many college kids are around here, and it would be so easy to market it to them and getting them to use it. Because we're not charging them anything. Our money comes from a service where we charge the government or the police themselves. So there is really no reason why the university can't advertise to kids and get them to use it, especially considering there's a stabbing in the library, there's a shooting in the library. Every other day we hear something. Somebody had a seizure. I was there. I heard it. And we were waiting for emergency response. It would have been pretty useful to have something like that right there.
So the software is like $3,000, I think, per month for the police.
Roughly.
What about the technology? Did you see that message in the squad car?
Could you repeat that?
So then your squad car is going to get the message, right? What device is going to give them that message?
The device is going to be your phone, actually, directly looking via a radius to figure out what's the nearest squad car that can come and get you right now. That's kind of how the software system works. That is why it speeds up.
What in the squad car, though, is alerting the squad car then?
Well, the squad car has software in there that's going to receive that via satellite GPS connectivity.
Okay, so it's some device that they already have that you were able to...
3G internet. That's all you need. And most squad cars now have internet. It's a standard procedure. You don't need anything else. One of the great things about our business is that it's so service-based and it's just a software. You don't need to set up a factory and build a little physical thing that's going to cost you $1 million. There's no FDA issues here or anything like that. You can just have the software ready, and all the devices, all you need at the PSAP is a standard computer, desktop, just runs the software, cloud-based, very easy to integrate. And same things for cars. Cars now already have the internet. They already have the computers and everything. It can either be a center console, depending on the car. Like I said, that's why I mentioned about the integration part. We're going to have the prototype, which shows how it's going to work, but it may not necessarily be the way that it's built into the car, because maybe the police they have a laptop and they want it just to be on the laptop. Or maybe they have a center console, kind of like the cars that we drive now. They have a Pandora app, they have, I don't know, Facebook app and all that. We can build something like that too. You good? Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
Concludes our 5 finalists. We're going to have the judges step out and deliberate and come back in a few moments with their grand prize winner of $8,000. Now we're going to get the audience involved here. We're going to pull up a screen where you're going to, so get out your phones, and you're going to text your favorite choice of who should win the audience choice vote for this year's Big Ideas Challenge. So you can see the phone number up on the top. So text for your favorite winner: Gym Life, Vicazed, Mankato Pediatric Respite, Teletalks, and 911 Emergency Help. DeAndre? So yes, so the judges could select the same audience choice winner. So there could be one team that goes home with both prizes. So you have, you get one choice to vote. There's one, each phone number gets one choice to vote. Does that make sense? And you have about 4 more minutes before we're going to close down the audience text voting. And then when the judges come back, we'll do our presentation checks for the winners. And then I hope you all can stick around for our celebration reception. That'll start hopefully in the next 10 minutes downstairs in the Hearth Lounge down by the fireplace. We have some good food set up, so come down and congratulate all of our Big Ideas contestants after we get the voting done. Thank you. The judges are back. All right, are we ready? First off, I just want to thank you all once again for coming and helping us celebrate entrepreneurship and innovation here at Minnesota State University. And thank you so much for being a part of our first year of our Big Ideas Challenge. So thank you all very much. Give yourselves a round of applause for joining us. Earlier this afternoon, we did hold an innovation fair for those students who had their own big ideas that they wanted to share that did not make it to our finalist round. So I'm just going to kind of quickly go through, and I don't know if any of our winners are here, but we will see. We threw a little seed money through our Lloyd kind of scholarship type of fund as well for our innovation fair. And we have a $100 prize that goes to the most feasible company that has the most feasible business plan, and that goes to Cloud Application Consulting. So I know, Scott, I know you're here. Come up here, get your award. Scott and Ted. All right. I'll get your checks. Yeah, congratulations, you guys. Yeah, thank you. All right, and we had another $100 prize for most impactful, which would be whose idea was going to impact the greatest need in a population. And that $100 prize goes to WEMS. I don't know if Stephanie was here. I don't think Stephanie's here. So if you know Stephanie, congratulate her on her WEMS idea. And then we had a $250 prize for most innovative, finding a unique way to solve a problem. And the $250 prize goes to Fishing Easy. I don't know. I don't think he's here either. Okay, so those were our Innovation Fair Prize winners. And now I'm going to have Craig Lloyd come up to the stage and announce our Big Ideas Challenge winners.
Thank you. Well, first of all, this is a great honor for our family to take part of this and be part of the entrepreneurship deal at Mankato. One of the things that Christy reminded me of, my daughter, is that her husband, a number of years ago at Purdue, Maryland, had to do a thesis entrepreneur contest. I'll get this right. Anyway, they came up with working on an app on how to track cell phones and different things like that. And they presented their program to entrepreneurs. They didn't pursue it. And was it this year? Yeah, this year it sold to Google for $1.1 billion. So never give up your dream. Never give up your vision on what you want to do, because you could be the next billionaire. With that being said, everybody had a good presentation. We're very impressed with what you did, how you went about it. We have chose the people to receive this for a number of different reasons, but they proved it in the marketplace. They had a good program. And the people that won this year's award is Mankato Pediatrics Respect.
Congratulations. Congratulations. Here's your big check.
Thank you.
Thank you so
All right.
much.
Congratulations.
This is our People's Choice winner.
Okay, People's Choice. Also, the Mankato Pediatric Respect. Congratulations. Congratulations. A personal story. Last year we had a little grandson that was in the hospital for a month, 1 week, seemed like a month. But the biggest problem was, what did the parents do? And to find somebody to take care of this little guy and be there, he had a lot of family around him, but still the satisfaction to have someone like you is very important. Thanks.